the Upshot, Multi-World Disc Golf's podcast about the latest in the disc golf world. I'm the editor, Charlie Eisenhood. Joining me is Josh Mansfield. We got a very special show today. Always so much fun. It's the Upshot Season End Award Show, and we get to look back on the best moments of the year and give out some awards to players, moments, companies for the awesome moments that they brought us in 2023. Josh, I always look forward to this show. Just preparing for the show is fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you really get to talk about everything, and it's fun to think of some of the moments that are kind of overlooked as we move further along the season. But man, there were some special ones this year, and I'm excited to give out some awards.
Well, before we get to that, I want to pop in on this topic really quick. We're getting towards the holiday season.
Mm-hmm.
People shopping, getting ready for, whatever they're celebrating, giving out gifts. I discovered before the show that you and I both share an affinity for Costco.
Oh, yeah.
So what are your Costco go-tos? I've bought many a cool gift at Costco, oftentimes just by wandering around and being like, oh, look at this thing. But what are your go-tos at Costco?
Costco always seems, and you got to wait until they go on discount, but Costco always seems to have nice mid-weight jackets.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I don't know why. They're heavy coats. I hate them. I don't like them. I don't think they're that nice. But they have mid-weight, sport jackets that I especially use a lot for work, and they'll go on sale. And if I were to go buy, another name brand somewhere, I'd be spending $80, $70, and I can get them for $15 at Costco when they go on sale.
For a sport coat.
Yeah. Well, not like a sport coat, like one of the neoprene zip ups that I can wear, that I throw over a shirt and tie when I'm going to city council and snowing outside.
Sure.
Those are the kind of coats. I don't know why, but Costco just always has them, and they've always got a great deal on them. So I'm a big fan of those. We really like the chocolate covered pretzels, the white chocolate and peppermint pretzels.
Oh yeah,
flat pretzel crackers.
I've had those. Those are delicious.
Those are good. And then I go to Costco to buy obscene amounts of meat for my smoker. So we're talking the ribs, pork shoulder, brisket.
Incredible.
Yes, that's where we're going. So those are the things I go for Costco the most.
They have prime beef at crazy prices.
Yes. And they go on sale. The other day, pork shoulder was $1.50 a pound off. And so I bought 3 of them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I struggle to deal with the quantity of meat that is required to purchase at Costco because I just have the New York City apartment and I have a small freezer.
Right.
I need a deep freezer separate for just Costco things.
We have one. It's in our basement.
Yeah.
It's all it's for.
If I didn't live in New York City, I would 100% have one.
Yeah.
I buy olive oil by the gallon there. I mean, I'm just how much can I buy at once? I want to get it all. If you're not a Costco person, I understand, but it just feels so good to go shopping there and be look at the deal that I'm getting on this thing.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And everything is good. Everything is high quality.
It really does. It really
the Kirkland signature brand, you can trust that it's going to be really good. I have some Kirkland signature tequila in here, and I don't even know. Get it all. I gotta get one of the Kirkland signature hoodies or sweatshirts.
Oh, there
they have the crew necks.
Uh-huh.
So nice.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into this.
Okay.
It's time for the Upshot Awards. And don't miss it. Subscribers are going to get the Sheddies in the subscriber bonus segment inside the circle, where we give out some of the biggest blunders of the year. Now, we already had we got our gaffes bracket. That's kind of its own thing. This is individual moments, worst putt, stuff like that.
Yeah, most of it's on the course.
Almost entirely. There's a couple of business things that we'll talk about today, but this is mostly moments on the course that we're going to remember from now and in the future. So, without further ado, let us begin. We've already kind of hashed this one out, Josh, so it's not going to come as a surprise because this has been much discussed. But let's start right off the top with Player of the Year. 2023 Player of the Year in MPO. Congratulations to Calvin Heimberg for winning Upshot Award for Player of the Year. We had a lot of conversations about whether Isaac Robinson should win this award, Josh, and ultimately I was able to convince you to come over to the Vinny side of things.
Yeah, you were able. So Calvin gets the nod there.
I mean, start to finish, there was not a player who was more consistently good than Calvin.
Mm-hmm.
And, you can knock him for not winning every week, but like part of golf is being able to be there at the top all the time. And he did that better than anybody, and it really wasn't even that close.
Yeah, no, that's true. It's definitely a fair award. And man, for all the drama on the MPO side, there was none on the FPO side. Kristen Tatar gets the Player of the Year award from the Upshot, and if any award, like if there's any Player of the Year award that for some reason does not go to Kristen Tatar, you should absolutely discredit that award.
Oh my! Could you imagine if a voter
No.
in like the Pro Tour voting like didn't vote for Kristen? That's impossible, right? It's impossible.
Yeah.
It is not possible. But stuff like this happens. What Mark Jackson didn't have Jokic on his MVP ballot last NBA season, and he was just basically like, "I screwed up and I just forgot him." But I mean, like, that's pretty shocking. The guy won the award.
Pretty egregious.
Okay, we move on to awards we haven't already discussed ad nauseum. Let's go to Comeback Player of the Year. Josh, who are we giving it to in FPO?
Over on FPO, we thought of a couple candidates, but the one that we're going to give it to is the most literal Comeback of the Year award I think you could ever give. Paige Shue. It wasn't the best season in the world, but she took a kind of hiatus that not many players take from disc golf and still managed to come back and tour and make that a lifestyle for them. And, doing it with her family and kind of coordinating with Grady, especially with the kiddo, like that takes some work. And Paige deserves some credit there. It's a lot of fun to have her back. And so we give Comeback Player of the Year on FPO to Paige Shue.
It's hard. I think these comeback awards are difficult because a lot of times you're having to really stretch. I mean, I think the ballot for the Pro Tour award, the only player on it that made sense to me was Valerie Mondahano, but it doesn't really feel like she was a comeback player. Like, yes, she missed some time with an injury, but she was an amazing player last season, and then she came back and she was honestly less good. She did win. Mm-hmm. It's not like it's crazy to vote for Valerie Mondahano there, but I feel so much better about giving it to a player who truly came back.
Yeah.
Right? Who truly was like, I mean, in the case of Paige, didn't really play at all last year or really in the last couple of years.
Couple of years, yeah.
And now is back on tour.
Yeah.
And, it's not like she came back and started winning again, but I still think it's cool to give it to somebody who actually sort of returned in a meaningful way. On the MPO side, we're going to give it to James Proctor. Now, James didn't really take time off or miss time. He played a lot more on the tour this year. He kind of went from being a regional pro to an actual touring pro. But the thing is that he went from being sort of like a highly rated guy, but he didn't really have a good 2022. I mean, his Pro Tour performances were mostly in the 30s, 40s, 50s. And this year, he was like a lock in the top 10 most weeks. He was one of the most consistent players not named Calvin Heimberg. And so I think an easy call for James Proctor because he had been at a higher level in the past, had a kind of a thin 2022, and then really launched himself into more national notoriety this year.
Yeah, fair, good award. I think I like the James Proctor pick. All right, next award, Rising Star. This one, this one is for players who are somewhat established, but kind of reaching, the upper echelons. It's not like who's the no name who won a silver, right? And that was all they did, and maybe will come. These players are pretty well established because we don't want our rising star to be somebody who kind of falls off and we never see again. This award then, over on the MPO side, goes to Cole Redolin. Cole, he had flashes of brilliance last season, but was never quite able to like put it all together. And this year he does at Ledgestone and gets his first win and overall plays really, really well throughout the entire season. Cole is showing us that he has the ceiling. I mean, the biggest problem is when you compare it with some of the other stars of the sport right now, Cole has a ceiling that can match all of them. The problem is that he also has the lowest floor of any of them. And he's got to figure that out if he wants to try really become a powerhouse. But I mean, that's what a rising star and a young player is kind of meant to be. So Cole Redolin at the quite young age of 18 gets the nod. He's probably 19 now, but gets the nod.
Yeah, Gannon Burr won this award last year.
Yeah.
So we're not trying to pick some, random teenager out of a hat who had one good tournament. So on the FPO side, it's going to go to Silva Saarinen, who emerged from Europe this year as a player who not only played well on the European continent when the biggest names from Europe were over in the US, but held her own against Kristen Tatar and Evelina and Henna. Clearly, like one of the big stories of the season. I think the only other player who could have been in this conversation was Allie Smith, who I think absolutely has a case here. But we thought that Silva's sudden burst onto the scene, as opposed to Allie Smith's more slow burn, earned her this award.
Oh. All right, what's next?
We go to Dog of the Year. Now, last year, Owen Scoggins won the Dog of the Year award.
And was the only dog. Yes, yeah.
This year, we're going to give it in both MPO and FPO. And in FPO, the award goes to Owen Scoggins, Dog of the Year 2023. Look at this. I mean, she wins her first Elite Series. She proves all the doubters wrong, a.k.a. this guy right here, for backing up her 2022 season with an even better 2023 season, and continues to do it with a smile on her face. What an awesome player and just an outright dog.
I think we said that we were just going to name it after her this year, and then she wasn't eligible for the award, and then she just backed it up with such a great year that we had to give it to her.
Oh, that's right. We said we were going to call it the Owen Scoggins Dog of the Year award.
Next year,
when she retires from FPO,
there we go.
Competitive play, we'll hang it up.
You mean you shouldn't try and give high profile awards to and like, I don't know, Hall of Fame ballot for Macbeth when he's still playing? That's the vibe I get here. Anyway, over on the MPO side, Matteo gets the nod. I remember I at the beginning of the year, we were talking about like predictions for the season, and I don't remember if you said that Matteo would win or you just asked me if I thought Matteo would win. And I said, nope, we know who Matteo is. The field continues to get better. He's going to slowly slide down the leaderboard because he's just going to keep playing like Matteo does, and he's never going to get a win. And boy, was I wrong. Matteo continues, even as the field around him gets better, he continues to just stay at the same level. And it's like a buoy in a water, like a body of water that the water can raise, but Matteo just like goes with it. He gets a win as well, and those both are enough to qualify Matteo for the MPO Owen Scoggins Dog of the Year award winner.
All right, we move on to the Performance of the Year. And Josh, who had the Performance of the Year in FPO?
On FPO,
easy.
The answer is Kristen. The answer is Kristen. And we had a lot of debate because Champions Cup has the amazing story of coming back and kind of getting the redemption from the season prior. European Open, she won by an obscene amount of strokes, and nobody was anywhere near her. At Worlds, she has to battle with Missy Gannon, but puts together two 10-30 plus rated rounds in rounds 1 and 2. And so there were so many moments of Kristen's that deserve this award. And so we're going to give it to Kristen Tatar at the majors. Maybe that's cheating, and we're okay with that. But Kristen's performance of the majors, each were unique in their own way. their impressive level of play, but they all are important and significant in the grand storyline of Kristen Tatar getting the first FPO major sweep, and so Kristen gets the nod.
Grand Slam season.
Yeah,
just an amazing story. Don't take it for granted. It's even though we've had all these years of having players who are dominant in FPO, and there were years where Paige was dominant like Kristen was this year, and there were years where Val Jenkins was dominant like Kristen was this year, but no one in a significant number of major season, 3+ majors, has ever swept. And Kristen was able to do it in the best field ever.
Yeah.
So pretty incredible stuff. On the MPO side, Corey Ellis at the European Open gets our Performance of the Year award, keeps himself in the competition through spit outs and the roller coaster that is the beast, and finds himself in a position late in the tournament to attack and win. And he goes for it on 16 after not having gone for it the last couple of rounds. He sticks the island. Then he clutches up with an amazing shot on 17 that I think deserves even more credit than what he did on 16. Just a sick shot, and so easy to miss that shot, and ends up taking it down. Had a little cushion going into 18, and got the job done. So an amazing finish for Corey Ellis at one of the best tournaments of the season.
It just feels like so many of the big storylines were defined by that major, right? I mean, the only one that wasn't was Isaac Robinson's performance at the majors, but Calvin having, losing the lead, Anthony Barella. I mean, there were so many people who we saw, in that tournament that had so much interest around them throughout the entire year. It really does feel like the most prominent tournament this year, and so Corey Ellis has to get that win.
What's next, Josh?
This is a renamed award. Last year, it was known as the Advertisement of the Year. We also didn't pick an advertisement last year either. We did essentially a marketing campaign, and so hence it is renamed the Marketing Campaign of the Year, because I don't know if there is any ad in disc golf that deserves to ever get an award yet. Most disc golf pro tour ads are less than desirable. So, Marketing Campaign of the Year goes to the Simon line discs. This is such an immensely popular line of discs that the naming convention is brilliant. The choice of discs that are being released, the first run that they charged a lot of money for,
it was like $50, right?
So, yeah, something like that. It all around has just it's been, and don't get me wrong, I mean, you probably could have released 5 discs in the Simon line this year, and they all would have done very well. But I think it's been smart to pace it the way that they have and continue to release them just one at a time. Everything that they've done about this has just been such an excellent marketing campaign that they get the nod for the Marketing Campaign of the Year.
Yeah, and I mean, you could call the acquisition of Simon Lizotte a part of this whole marketing campaign, because it really is, right? I mean, they're not signing Simon because he's a good player. They're signing him because he'll sell them discs. And right. It's going well. Business story of the year, House of Discs. Welcome to our new corporate overlord. Latitude 64 gets acquired by private equity, and then on it goes as they pick up DD, they pick up Discmania, they pick up Castoplast, and we now have essentially, I was thinking about this, Josh.
Okay.
In Europe, you have House of Discs, and then what? Prodigy.
Yeah.
And that's like it.
That's it.
Now, obviously, American companies can sell discs in Europe, but when we're talking about companies that have like a significant presence in the European market, like House of Discs now controls a big chunk, and basically all of the manufacturing in Europe. And I think that that's, long run, a very stable base for that company to work from. But I mean, this is going to be a big story moving forward as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. Next up, is our media personality of the year. And this one's going to go to Ken Climo, joining the booth for USDGC. The fingers crossed that he's going to continue to join the booth because he was really good. It took some time to get used to him in the booth and figure it out. But I really felt like Ken Climo brought just a really remarkable insight and a good balance on the color commentary side at USDGC. And I hope that he continues to be a part of the media, because I think that his experience is one that really, it really feels a lot in a similar way to like Juliana Korver's color commentary on the FPO side. It's just somebody who's been in the game for a long time, who's watched the evolvement of that game and played at the highest level in a previous iteration, but speaks very, very well in terms of the highest level of the game today. Ken Climo gets the nod here.
You know, I think it's amazing to think about what could happen if Climo really does do, 3-ish tournaments a year or something like that, and works on getting better, because he's coming in as a completely inexperienced broadcaster and is already pretty good. And it takes time to get better. Look at how much Juliana has evolved in terms of her ability on the air.
Absolutely.
She's a lot better than when she started. And so what could Climo be long run? I think it's very interesting to consider, but a very fun story to close out the season for sure. We go to the media story of the year. Well, I think this one's easy enough to guess. Jomez gets acquired by the Disc Golf Pro Tour. And I mean, the media consolidation continues in disc golf, as now the Pro Tour is just an 800-pound gorilla. And, Jomez continues kind of as usual on YouTube. There's not really any way to notice, if you're not like hardcore, that anything has changed. But all those YouTube clicks are rolling into the Disc Golf Pro Tour's pockets now. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see what happens in the long term, because it's not just about the Jomez deal. It's about, what does this mean for the other YouTube outfits? What does this mean for, where is the media side of disc golf in 5 or 10 years? Jomez kind of becoming a part of the Pro Tour and no longer serving as a foil in some ways to the live coverage is a pretty significant story.
Yeah, it was a crazy development from Jomez paying for the rights to,
although they never paid.
They never paid, right? But that announcement flipping over to just the acquisition, and
sure,
yeah, this is one of those candidates of like most impactful story of the 2020s.
It'll be interesting when we look back.
It will be
at the end of the decade.
Yeah. Final award here in kind of some of those that include the business side and non-on course. We're going to get really on course in a minute. Press conference moments of the year. And we've got a couple of them. Charlie, I'll let you pick which one you like first.
Well, I think I'll go with the one that is the most obvious.
Okay.
Because there were just very few press conference moments of any kind of note this year. But Cat Murch showing up as Randy Savage during Jonesboro was amazing.
And then winning the tournament. Incredible.
So she shows up, she's got the swagger and the confidence, she's rocking the Pit Vipers and like the whole thing, and just having fun with it. And what a great way to set up the weekend, and then to go out and win at home in Arkansas. Just an amazing storyline. It's the script writers really nailed that one.
Yeah, they did. That's a good one. My award goes to Kristen Tatar, when I think it was Terry Miller asked her. He said, last year you had trouble getting all your trophies back home to Europe. What did you do this year? And she says, I brought a second empty suitcase just to bring the trophies home.
It's a massive flex.
Oh my god! Like, I just that's incredible to me. I just brought an empty suitcase because I know I was gonna win so much that I was gonna need a second luggage to get my trophies home. Incredible press conference moment.
All right, so when we come back, we're going to be talking about on-course specifics, the shot of the year, the round of the year, the drive of the year, the lucky bounce of the year. We've got it all on the other side. Stay with us.
At Pound, the quality of our gear runs deeper than the stitching. That's why we make everything right here in the US, employing highly skilled, well-paid professionals. From bomb-proof Cordura fabric to YKK zippers and recycled plastics, we source the highest quality US materials to make the most comfortable, durable pack in disc golf. Our lifetime warranty stays with the pack, not the purchaser. So regardless of how you find us, we will be here to make sure your pack stays on the course and out of the landfill. Pound's integrity is held together with more than just thread.
Welcome back to the Upshot. As we continue the Upshot Awards for 2023, we turn our attention to on-the-course moments. Josh, what do we have up first?
The first award is the number one hole of the year. And this is an award that kind of encapsulates a couple things. Number one, it's got to be a good quality hole. One that's got a nice design, and that we generally, highlight as being one of the top holes in disc golf. But number two is this also includes it created defining moments of the season. So it's what happened on that hole as well that has to be taken into consideration. And so the combination of those two things gives us, and we do a different hole for MPO and FPO as a result. And so for that, on the FPO side, the nod goes to hole 18 at the Throw Pink Women's Disc Golf Championship. It's a hole that offers real challenge for the FPO players, but this year very obviously had some defining drama between the Kristen and Holland pushing it to the playoff. Like it very clearly to me was like the standout hole in one of the few major tournaments of the year that had some real competitive drama. And that's what really makes this so difficult. This award this year, especially, I think, is that Kristen won by so much in so many of the other tournaments that this one, like it's like, okay, what was the big competitive tournament that was very close? Well, there was only one of them. Okay, what's the defining hole of that one tournament? Well, it's got to be hole 18. So very quickly, kind of gets narrowed down here. You could make an argument for hole 17 with the playoff, but I really think hole 18 kind of defined that tournament and gets the win.
Oh yeah, and there were some other key moments on hole 18 outside of that final round drama with Holland and the spot and Kristen, having to clutch up and get the birdie, and I mean, just Kristen had struggled on 18, and that's a great point. But there was more, and I don't want to spoil, so I'm not going to say it yet.
Okay, all right.
But for sure. And I think it's an easy call. I mean, you don't even, if you paid the slightest attention to disc golf this year, you're going to know what it's going to be in MPO. And that's hole 16 at the European Open, where not only do you have just this high pressure hole with the bunker rule, so it's like not quite as fluky as 17 at Winthrop, but it's still this really sort of mentally challenging shot, even though like sort of the physical nature of the shot should be straightforward. It's not that hard.
Charlie, I hear that players can actually throw a putter and make it on the green.
Well, somebody tell Anthony Barella that when you're the longest thrower on tour and you're juiced up, adrenaline in the final round, that maybe you should stop throwing fairway driver. Eventually he did. But, just the most iconic moment of disc golf this year, right? He's kind of out of position and then just empties the bag as he tries to get onto the island, and then Corey Ellis snipes it, and wow, the crowd behind, like everything so about good. It, just amazing moment from the season.
Yeah. All right, next up
is the upshot of the year. And I'm going to cheat a little bit in MPO, okay?
Okay.
In the final round at D-Glow, on holes 6 and 10, Calvin Heimberg had throw-in eagles from 250 feet to 300 feet out both times in the same round.
That was wild.
so awesome. Like, I feel like they must have replayed those eagles like 20 times during the live broadcast. Unfortunately for Calvin, he couldn't turn it into a win, but he climbed up the leaderboard and just gave us one of the most fun moments from the course all year.
Over on the FPO side, Kristen Tatar, hole 5 at Winthrop, when she goes over the water and it flexes back and lands. I mean, it was so close to the pin, which is also coincidentally so close to the water. Incredible shot with just an overwhelming amount of control that at no point looked like it was in danger. I mean, it really highlights Kristen Tatar and I mean, upshots are what when we talked to Brian Earhart after I think it was European Open, and we talked about what is it that makes Kristen Tatar so special, and he's like, upshots are just her bread and butter, and nobody does them in the game like Kristen Tatar. So it felt like we had to honor Kristen in that one. And hole 5 really was the standout, I think, of probably her best upshot of the year.
Oh, just, it's such a beautiful line. Like, hugging the water line.
So
it was like basically going parallel to the water for the last 50 feet of the flight and just landed perfectly on the tip of the peninsula and was just tap in birdie. So it's just an amazing shot.
Yeah.
All right. What's next, Josh?
Next up is the putt of the year.
Man, this was tough.
This one was tough. Last year was a breeze. Like, it was so easy to do on last year. You know, Macbeth on 17. Kristen had a putt during Worlds when really she turned it around and took off. Like, very easy last year. Not obvious for us this year. We settle for MPO on settle, meaning like we settle the debate, not that we settled. This was a special moment.
A great moment.
Great putt. Like this is a top tier quality putt that deserves this award. Adam Hammes, hole 18 at Portland Open. And this is the one he goes out of bounds and you're like, oh, it's over. And then Aaron Gossage like is within the circle or edge of circle. Adam Hammes hits the crazy putt from OB, 60-footer jump putt, cashes it. Aaron Gossage misses the putt.
He misses the putt. Oh my God, Aaron Gossage.
Aaron Gossage and putting they're just not friends. Pushes it to the playoff. Adam Hammes gets the win there. It's a difficult putt. It's a high stress moment. And really felt like everything was done when he went OB. And
I mean, if he misses the putt, it is 100% over.
Yeah, because Aaron Gossage lays up and
taps in.
Done. Yes. So it really was a spectacular putt and a defining putt for the only win that Adam Hammes got this season. But at a great event with an Elite Plus at Portland.
I actually think that it was pretty easy in MPO because this was just such a fantastic moment.
It was.
I guess it would be slightly better if it was a walk-off win, but it was still easily like the highest pressure monster make of the year.
Yep.
Okay, on the FPO side, we considered a bunch of options. There were some great putts. Owen had some great putts. Kristen had some great putts. We considered her putt from, I think it was round 2 at Fox Run on hole 13. She like looked completely out of position with trees in the lane, and she just perfect height, perfect weight, sinks it from like 50.
Yep.
It was awesome, and it was part of 2 really special opening rounds at Worlds, but it just didn't have that weight of like a really big putt. So what we're going to give it to is Lucky Lorenzen hitting the putt in the final round at Worlds from outside the circle to guarantee herself a top 10 spot. And she is emotional. She's crying about this run that she'd made to finish inside the top 10. Easily her best performance of the season. And it was like a do or die putt for like guaranteeing that top 10 spot. Just such an awesome moment. And it's rare to get a great putt late like that. That doesn't mean just that you make a little more money.
Right.
You know, like this was actually a meaningful moment and honestly added to the enjoyment of the final round of Worlds when at that point, it was very clear that Kristen was going to win. And so Lucky hitting this one, just an awesome moment for her career. I'm sure something she'll remember forever.
Yeah, great choice. So, Charlie, we've done the putt of the year. We've done the upshot of the year. Could it be that our next award is the drive of the year?
If you can believe it, it sure is.
Oh my goodness.
So here we go. Drive of the year. Josh, what do you say for MPO?
This is always such a tough award because there's so many good candidates, but we're going to give it to Mr. Highlight Reel himself, Kevin Jones, who manages to come up with another spectacular ace this season. Kevin gets a grenade ace at Yarva that is absolutely unbelievable. And
I just want to point out, think about just the physics of getting an ace to go in on a grenade shot. Like, the basket is not designed to allow the disc to come in from overhead.
Mm-mm.
And yet, it's just the craziest shot ever.
It's so wild. I mean, I don't think it tops his other ace.
No, the slip ace.
The slip ace.
I mean, the thing is about the grenade ace, it was in competition.
Right.
But the slip ace was just, I don't know. Like, that's one of those sports moments that will still be watched in 50 years.
Yeah, exactly. So, but Kevin Jones gets the highlight again, gets the nod for the drive of the year with a grenade ace. You don't see him very often.
That was wild. FPO. If you don't know, now you know. Ellie Midling, the 16-year-old, makes it to the Throw Pink Women's Disc Golf Championship. She qualifies, and on hole 18, she throws an absolute bomb off the tee shot, like out-driving many MPO players on the hole.
Yes.
A perfect shot, lands middle of the fairway, and then completes the hole with a perfect upshot and a tap-in for eagle. The first ever eagle on hole 18 at Winthrop. Now, credit, Ella Hansen got the eagle later in the weekend, but her drive was not as good. Her upshot arguably was better because she was further back, but Ellie Midling had some spectacular shots. She also threw it over the water on 5, but the drive on 18 is one of the most crazy shots you'll see this year in FPO and is a sign of things to come for a player who could have won Rising Star if we were really trying to project into the future. Yeah.
She was the other conversation point. So I'm glad she gets the nod here in this very deserving drive of the year. So when you put it all together, you get the round of the year. And we have 2 rounds that were just, I mean, they're going to stick out for a while, I think. In MPO side, Cole Redolin, round 4 Ledgestone at Eureka, shoots a 1097 final round, just a clean house, and get that win. That was such a spectacular round that I have never seen Eureka shredded like Cole Redolin did. I mean, he made everything look so easy. And it's one, I mean, there were a lot of good rounds. James Conrad deserves an honorable mention for his 17 down at Jonesboro in round 2. But that was of no consequence at the end of the day. I mean, this is a round for Cole Redolin to get his first win for a guy who has been very good at taking himself out of contention due to mistakes. And so just the context of it all with just the quality at a premier tournament gives Cole Redolin the win.
With, I will mention, Ricky and Calvin right there.
Yeah.
Chasing him. And I mean, Calvin shot an amazing 13 under, including an ace on hole 10, and Cole still shot better.
Yeah.
Cole was bogey free 14 under. It was top 5 highest rated round of the year.
Yep.
The Conrad round you mentioned was the highest rated, over 1100 rated, but it just doesn't have the same meaning and weight as going head to head against the 2 reigning players of the year, Heimberg in 23, Ricky in 22. You're somebody who has struggled in these spots throughout your career, and you go out and not only do you win the tournament, but you win it going away, and you win what is Josh's number 1 tournament of the year.
That's right.
In Ledgestone. I mean, just the combination of all of the things about what he was able to do in that round and over the course of that weekend special.
It was.
Special.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
On
in FPO.
Oh, here's a question, Charlie.
Okay.
Does Kristen get a round of the year here?
We thought about some other options here. Like Evelina Salin and Throw Pink, round 1. Sick round, 1038 rated.
Sick round.
But it has to go to Kristen. It has to. Not only did she have 2 1030 plus rated rounds to open up Worlds, which we could just give that like as a combo pair, like 1035, 1038. But even better, at the European Disc Golf Championships, admittedly not a tour event, but still a tournament that meant a lot to Kristen.
Yep.
She shot a 1055 rated round in round 2. 1055. 11 under. Josh, what do you think second best round that tournament was in that round?
Oh, man.
It was Henna.
Okay.
What do you think her score was?
5.
3. Kristen shot 8 strokes better than Henna. 1055 rated. Round of the year in FPO by rating and by all it. And she needed all those strokes because she went absolutely as cold as she's ever been in the final round and still hung on to win.
Yeah. Her round was so good, and including the first round as well with the 60, that she was in contention to have a score. Because remember, this layout is played the same of MPO, FPO. She was in contention
that's right.
to be in the top 10 of MPO scores through round 2. Man, she fell off very quickly, but was in contention to be in the top 10 on MPO. And the 54, which is what she shot in round 2, that 11 down, was tied for the 5th best round, or was the 5th best round on the MPO side, shot by Yakud Semerad that day. It was a spectacular and special round that is, I mean, you don't see those rounds come around very often.
No, Josh, I actually think that's not true what you just said. Dennis Augustson shot an 11 under in round 2. That was the best round in MPO. She shot an 11 under. She tied the best round. Now it was a set. Augustson shot a 12 under in round 1. So that was the best overall round.
So MPO par is different.
That's right. That's right.
The layout is the same, but par is different.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Thank you. I
You're
forgot
welcome.
that.
So that's, the 54 is the 11 under. You need to go by strokes, not by...
Still incredible. Still
incredible.
All right. We move on to the tournament of the year. This was not a hard exercise. Yeah. Josh, what was it in MPO?
It was the European Open. The drama, the excitement. I think we kind of previewed a lot of it when we talked about number 1 hole of the year on the MPO side as to why European Open gets this win still. But that was just such a spectacular tournament. That's twice.
Was so fun.
That's reigning champion, by the way, of tournament of the year. European Open gets the back-to-back win and is the only winner on the MPO side. Yeah, because remember, it was the Evil Paul.
I mean, that was incredible. I mean, very different, like, paths to being the best tournament of the year. But you got to give it credit. The beast seems to deliver.
And man, Paul Macbeth was on the losing side of both of those.
Ooh. Paul kind of no-showed. Paul showing up in the Sheddies.
Yes.
At European Open. We'll talk about that.
That's what I was talking about.
We'll talk about that. Yeah. Got to get yourself an Ultra Real Disc Golf subscription. All right. On the FPO side, easy call. Mm-hmm. And technically just an A tier. But we all know it's a lot more than that. It's the unofficial major that is the Throw Pink Disc Golf Championships. The combination of a very exciting finish, a playoff with Kristen, Holland winning her first tournament, the level of play at the highest it was all season. I mean, every round was a pleasure to watch. And that is not always the case. It can be a slog out there sometimes. But the good weather and just the focus from the players, the qualification only field, it just the quality of the event was super high. they cleaned up the layout too for FPO, which made a big difference. And I just think that it pretty much had it all.
We did.
I feel very fortunate to have been on the call for both of those events at the tournament at both of those events. Very, very
awesome.
A privileged spot to be in, but super fun in the booth. And I'm glad it. I mean, I just don't think it was any tournaments that close to these two, right?
I don't think so either. A lot of our other majors were blowout wins.
Yeah, especially in FPO.
Yeah, weren't even that close. So
Champions Cup was very entertaining on MPO.
That's true.
And it was fun to watch Kristen shred.
Yeah,
but it's just you kind of need a close finish to make things really take it to the next level.
Yeah, I think so too.
All right, lucky bounce of the year, Josh. What was it? We're just doing one.
Yeah, we just got one here. Hole 4, Winthrop. Gannon Burr has he's like 100 feet out.
A little more, like 110.
A little more. And he goes for a putt, that standstill putt, throws it, and it catches a tree and bounces into the basket. And just one of the luckiest things that you will see.
So sick.
And
dude.
we've seen a couple of these before,
standstill.
But man, it was so good.
Amazing.
This is how I want putting. We've talked about this. Get rid of jump putts. Make them putt out 65 feet, 66 feet.
This still, no matter where you draw the circle, this would still have been able to be a jump putt, right?
That's true. That's true.
He was way out there, but I agree with you.
Yeah.
The savvy shot of the year. This just we had to create a category for this because it was just very
had to get a nod. Yeah.
Simon Lizotte, hole 16 at D-Glow, intentionally throws it over the green, out of bounds on the island green, just blasts one straight and as far as he can throw it, and then because of the rules of the hole, just gets to go to where it was last in bounds, which was right by the basket, and taps in for par.
So smart.
It's really smart.
Because there were players
really
who were
smart.
taking bogeys because
Big
they were going
numbers.
OB short, and the drop zone was very punishing. And because it didn't have proper island rules, Simon
took advantage of the rules that were on the books.
Yeah.
And it was super smart. And he went on to win.
Yeah. Simon line means something different these days.
That was sick.
Yeah.
Love it. So really enjoyed the awards. We're going to also enjoy giving out some of the blunders in the Sheddies in our subscriber bonus segment inside the circle. So make sure you get yourself a subscription over at discgolf.ultiworld.com/subscribe. That is going to do it for today's show. Thank you so much for tuning in. For Josh Mansfield, I'm Charlie Eisenhood saying so long, and we'll talk to you next time.